world? How is everybody doing? It's good to see you. Glad you get to hang out with us on this fantastic Tuesday. We got a lot of news for y'all today. A lot of news. So hope y'all come to hang out. Again, we appreciate you hanging out with us on this fine Tuesday evening. Let me introduce the cast. Uh my lovely sister Christina
Hey
and
guys.
Casanova Frankenstein.
Dude.
Nope.
Oh, sorry about that. I hit the wrong button. But that's fine. That's fine. So Christina, why don't you say hello to the nice people?
Hey
Casanova, introduce
guys.
yourself. Say what's up.
Casanova.
Okay. Okay. All right. Good.
How's it
Good.
going, everybody? What's going on? Hope
Good to have
everyone's doing
everybody here.
well.
So we got a fantastic show. Chris, why don't you go ahead and get us started? And
Alrighty.
what we talking about? What we talking about tonight?
Well, first we're going to talk about requesting that all of you amazing people who are joining us at the moment, please like, share, subscribe. We enjoy, as Smitty keeps saying, doing this for you guys and enjoy, the conversations that we have. So make sure we can hang around for a little bit. Like, share, subscribe. We are going to start with Sinners. Guys, if you haven't seen it yet, please be forewarned, there will be spoilers. This movie, as stated previously, I'll just do a quick recap. Stars Michael B. Jordan, and is directed by Ryan Coogler. I don't know what is going on. It was released April
Can't read. That's
18th.
what's.
Stop it. The synopsis is that they're trying to leave their troubled lives behind. The twin brothers return to their hometown to start again, only to discover that an even greater evil is waiting to welcome them back. Casanova, I know you went to see Sinners on its opening weekend. And Smitty, you recently went to go see this over the weekend. I didn't see it. So based on Casanova, we'll start with you since you saw it first. I just want to, I'm curious, and I'm sure that our viewers want to know what your overall thoughts on the movie was, and did it leave anything to be desired? Was it over the top? Did the
I think,
outline do it justice also?
yeah, it was like the outline for what the movie was about did justice without giving a lot away. If folks were just going into it relatively
Okay.
blind, like I know a lot of people don't go to see trailers or won't watch trailers because they
Mhm.
like, oh, I heard about it and I just want to go see it.
Mhm.
So the logline did a good job of not spoiling anything. It's easily Ryan Coogler's best film, I think. I mean, it's like as good as like Black Panther and Fruitville Station, where this is easily his best picture. So you can see him maturing. Whether Michael B. Jordan becomes the De Niro to his Scorsese, we'll
Mhm.
see. But it was like it was good. It was a little bit different than what I thought because initially when I heard it was a horror movie, normally
Mhm.
horror movies start from the jump with like, oh, here's 10-20 minutes of setup and then you got horror for the rest of the runtime, and it didn't do that, which was I was surprised by, but it was good because there was a certain amount of tension that was there in the film. Now I know Smitty does not care for prequels, but between the Choctaw Native Americans that showed up to with the introduction of the big bad, the vampire in the movie, I would like a prequel to see what they was doing to that cat and why he was running during the daytime because he was trying to get away. So whatever they were doing to him, he really needed to hustle for that. And then also, I would be interested in like if you were to do something else with Michael B playing those two twins,
Mhm.
actually see what they did in Chicago because they mentioned it, but like why they left to come back, I would have liked to see what they were getting up to when they were there.
Gotcha.
So, but other than that, I think all the actors did a really good job. Um, there was one thing in this movie that I had never seen, I had not remember seeing in a vampire movie that I was happy to see, and that was when Omar Benson Miller got turned into a vampire after guarding the door, and he was
Mhm.
outside, and
Mhm.
he was like, "Oh, just give me the money." And as dude reached to give him the money, he pulled him out because they wouldn't invite him in. It's like I haven't seen that in a vampire movie, and I was like, "Why did it take somebody so long to do this?" Why did you not just pull somebody out if you got the
And
chance to pull them out?
gotcha. Okay.
So that was cool. So there was a lot of good stuff that was in there, and like I said, it was either the after credit scene was great. So it was like
Yeah,
kudos to
The after
everybody
credit
involved.
scene
It
that
definitely.
Smitty didn't watch.
I did. I did. So I didn't think that I did, but after somebody
Okay.
explained it to me, I did see it. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I
All
did see
right.
it.
Okay, all right, cool.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, it's like I think the movie deserves the flowers that it's getting.
Okay.
It's well
Awesome.
deserved, and word of mouth looks like to be giving this movie legs. So kudos to
Okay.
everybody involved.
Excellent. Smitty, what are your thoughts on the movie?
Before I get into it, Dominic wanted me to cover this last week. So Dominic, fantastic pull, man. Dominic says I hate sequels. They should just leave it alone. I'm in 100% agreement with Dominic. They don't need to do anything with this. Just leave it alone. I
Okay.
was
Well, apparently you didn't listen to my news last week where the director said he's not.
I remember.
Okay.
But I don't know if you just saw 30 seconds ago, Casanova said that he
He
wanted to
said prequel.
see
He said
some stuff.
prequel. He
Yeah,
I
I
said
don't
was
want
like,
to
I
see
would
no
like to
pre.
see.
pools.
Yeah, I was like,
I don't want to
I
see
would
no
like to
after
see a
pools, no
prequel,
prequels. I don't see no
even
pools.
All right. All right,
even
Smitty.
if they did it, even if they did it as like a comic book or something, I would be happy with that. Or you did like a book
Oh,
on the side, I would be
I
happy with
got you.
that
Got you. Got you.
because
All
it's
right.
like it's more. It got me more interest just in the world and the other stuff that they were done. I don't need a sequel, but if they
Got
said
you.
one and they were doing a prequel under those two circumstances only, I would be fine.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'm sorry, Smitty. Go ahead. Finish your thoughts on the movie.
Uh, this movie blew me away.
Okay.
Completely blew me away. I was not expecting anything like what I got. It was so. I thought I was gonna go watch a horror movie,
Mm-hmm.
and it was not that at all. It was not that at all. This movie was about uh, relationships and family, and the vampire stuff was sprinkled in like
Okay.
as like an added uh, bit of entertainment, right? Like this was not about vampires. At least in my eyes, this was not about vampires. This was more about the things that the two brothers had to go through, but long before the vampires came along.
Okay.
So, um, just to set the scene, you had two brothers who had gone to Chicago, and they came back, and they clearly love one another, right? They are each other's best friend, and they do everything together, everything. They're a ride or die, and they come back and they want to set up basically like a juke joint somewhere they can go. Everybody can go. All these black folks can go and enjoy themselves um, at night, because during the day they're picking cotton. That they have to do what they're told, and they're just trying to give their folks a way to blow off steam.
Mm-hmm.
And so they set this whole thing up, and they're going around town trying to set up food like catfish and there's all this other stuff. And one of the brothers actually goes and sees someone he used to date, and she was I think she had a baby. They had a baby together, but the baby had passed away, so he was dealing with that. And there's so many elements to this story that it's absolutely incredible. And this is like they're going through all of this before there is even a vampire. I don't think the vampires didn't come in until like 45 minutes into the
Oh,
movie
okay.
had started, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
still
Mm-hmm.
dealing with all of this setup, right?
Right.
About the brothers and this little boy who's part of a church, and his father's basically warning. His father's a preacher, and he's warning him to stay away from you know those brothers and that life, right there. It's just going to lead to the devil and on all of this stuff. And of course he's
Mm-hmm.
like any other child. He's like, yeah, all right, whatever, it's fine. I'm just going to go hang out with our family members, and it's fine. And I can completely see our family in this movie, right? It was that good, and you can feel for each one of these characters. So,
Mm-hmm.
and it goes really, really deep. Like
So you had
just to give you for instance,
an
just to give you
emotional
for
kind
instance,
of
and I'm yeah, well, I'm gonna pass it back to
Casanova.
Casanova to see what he
Mm-hmm.
thinks in a second. But
Mm-hmm.
um, all of the people that have been pushed to the side back in the day,
Mhm.
seemed to make an appearance in this movie. The vampire was Irish, um,
Oh, I see.
and
Mhm.
uh, and you had the black folks. You
Mhm.
had there was a black woman in this who was she could pass for white, right?
Mhm.
So you had that element in it, and there was an Asian couple in it. So it seemed like every
They
race
took
that had
time to represent all of the individuals that were, like you said,
exactly
cast aside. Okay.
right,
Mhm.
with the exception
And
of
they
no,
didn't
even
make it
Too
yeah,
like they weren't
go ahead,
obvious.
heavy-handed with it. Yeah, it
Right.
was
yeah.
like they
Mhm.
were all natural parts of the story.
Oh, okay.
I mean, what did
Now
you what
that's
did you
good.
think,
Like when you're
Casanova?
able to weave it in where it's not like Casanova said, where it's not heavy handed. It's just it seems natural to the progression of the film and like the person's,
Right. Like
yeah.
Right,
all of the characters felt like they lived in this world, and then as they interacted with everything from their motivations for what they had. Like the preacher's son wanted to play music, and his father was just like warning him against it. Like you're playing devil's music and you're inviting that stuff into your soul. You don't need to be
Mhm.
doing that. Like the brothers came back from Chicago back home, and it never really said exactly what happened, but you could kind of tell they were running from something and they were trying to build something up for themselves and the people that they live, the people that they had kind of initially left behind when they went to Chicago with having this juke joint to have a business for themselves. You had
Mhm.
a guy representing the clan that sold them the business and
yeah,
acted like that he wasn't going to do nothing later, but
Mhm.
hints that something was planned early on that they were going to do something else later. And it was just a lot. And like Smitty said, they marketed or said in the marketing that was a horror movie. So I went in with one expectation and it was not that at all. It was like it was almost kind of like, and Delroy Lindo even said it's like he might have invented a new type of genre that was not necessarily a horror. It was just about something else. And then even
Mhm.
the scene with the different eras of music and everything when they were
Mhm.
dancing and
Mhm.
getting down, that could have easily not worked. But then that scene was perfect. It was like, and it was, like all of the music in the movie was incredibly good and fit everything. And everybody, of course, like the vampires had their motivations and everything else, but then it wasn't just, oh, we want to drink the blood and do whatever. It seems like their motivations was a little bit deeper than that.
Mhm.
So it was I was definitely blown away by this movie. Like I was not expecting what I got. And
That's
it was like
interesting.
and that's really good. And it's like and I'm pleased with that because it's very rare that I think you can go to the movies and something surprises you like that and is also very good. And so as good as it was.
And that's because Smitty, I see that you put Nina's comment up about her saying this felt like an installment of Lovecraft Country. Now, I
yeah,
watched that when it first came out. I never finished, like, I think it was like the last 3 episodes. Um, but just listening to what the two of you are saying, this feels to me like Interview with the Vampire, the series that they have on TV. I watch it on I think MGM Plus. I can't remember what platform it comes on, but I think that's a great show because similar to what you were saying, like yeah, it's got the vampire stuff, included in it, but you have the guy that started, I think in Louisiana or whatever, um, and he ran not a juke joint or whatever, but it was like a can he ran a sex house, um and like he had his money or whatever, and that's how he was getting it. He was supporting like his mother and sister or whatever, and then but as time goes on, like he ends up falling in love with a vampire, and they build a family. Like they build a family. They very specifically, I'm sure you guys know the story, they very specifically find a young girl or whatever that they end up turning into a vampire, etc. So but the series to me has a lot more, like you were saying, like of the very personal aspect of it, and it feels like a true family unit that they're trying to build. But they have, just like any other family dynamic, they have the family member that's on the outs. They have the two of them that are really in tune with each other, things of that nature. So that's it. I know that's not the premise of what you guys watch, but that's what it, excuse me, really reminds me of. So,
Well,
yeah.
the cast in this was absolutely unbelievable. As a matter of fact, the woman from Lovecraft Country
hmm
was in this. She played the girlfriend
Jesse
of.
Smollett's sister. I can't. Is that the young lady you talking about?
Hang on, I'm looking for it
I can't remember
right
her name.
now.
We all know why we know Jesse Smollett.
She's a big girl, but she's a
And it's
fantastic
not her.
actress.
All right.
I'll see if I can find her in a second. But she did a
Okay. But go ahead.
magnificent job.
hmm
Was that the
Oh,
same? She was
let
not the
me.
same woman that was in Loki, is she?
Yes, she was in Loki. She was
Yeah.
the head
Oh,
of
Right.
okay.
the.
Yeah.
And
She was
Yes,
one
yeah,
of
very
the
good.
TVA reps. Yeah.
with
Yes,
the short
yes,
haircut.
yeah. It's
hmm
it's so hard to try to describe how good this movie was because everything that made it good
hmm
was in the relationships that had been built up in the
hmm
beginning, all the way through the movie. I mean, there was a part in this that got me a little bit.
Uh-oh. What part
Yeah.
was that?
Um, Towards the end, as a matter of fact, I told you in the beginning he had lost a child, right, with his
Right.
girlfriend, and she was very ritualistic. She believed in the devil, and she believed in making things to protect you, hang around your neck,
hmm
that kind of stuff.
hmm
And towards the end of the movie, um, he gets shot. Right, he lost her towards, I don't know, somewhere around the middle of the movie, which I'm gonna get to in a second because I'd have whooped that woman's ass. But
Okay.
um, she had passed away, and he really didn't have anything much left to live for. And he hid in the bushes, or he hid in the trees, and he knew that the clan was coming to try to take him out. And he was waiting for him, and he took them all out by himself with machine guns and stuff that he had gotten from
hmm
Chicago.
Okay.
So as he's laying there with this bullet hole in him, and he's about to die, she appears to his right, and she's holding their baby,
Mm.
and she just looks at him. She says, "Do you want to hold him?" And he looks over, and he's got like tears in his eyes, and he's just holding a cigarette. But she tells him that he has to put his cigarette out because she doesn't want the baby to smell like smoke. Chris, I'm telling you right now, just even talking about it, woo, talking about it right now got me, because after everything that they had been through, for him to
That's what
see
he's
his
worried
son,
about. hmm
for him to see his
Mm.
son for the first
Yeah. He
time,
got a
the thing
chance
that
to
it,
be
yeah,
to see his son
it
be
was the thing
reunited with
that
the
bothered him
woman that he
most.
loved, and it was everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And there she is sitting there in this beautiful dress, and she's holding their son, and you can tell like he's going to die. It
hmm
That was an amazing scene, and it was only brought about because of the writing of both of those characters all the way up to
Right.
that point. So it was a
Oh, okay.
fantastic, fantastic, fantastic show, a fantastic movie.
Okay. Well, it sounds interesting. I will hopefully have time to see it. So, for those of you who may have just listened to their take on the movie and haven't watched it yet and are interested in watching it, you know, go ahead,
Hang on,
take a
because I
peek.
ain't done.
Oh,
That
oh yeah, you were good about to whoop
the,
somebody's. You was about to whoop somebody's tail. I'm sorry. Go ahead,
so I think Casanova knows. Casanova, you know what
buckle
I'm
up.
talking about? You know
What
what I'm talking about? The Asian
the
woman.
woman
Whose
that
tail
invited
he's
everybody?
about to?
Yeah.
Oh, do it. Tell him. Tell him. Tell him. Tell him. Oh my
What
God. Tell him.
happened?
So
Somebody gotta tell
they
me.
were they were in the juke joint, and they were relatively safe. And then what happened was that they were talking. Well, one of the vampire was talking. It's like, oh, well, if you're not going to let us in, maybe we're going to see your little girl. See how she's doing. maybe she'll invite us in or she'll invite her daddy in. And then they were trying to cover her mouth because she saw that she was losing it because her husband went outside to go get the car and he ain't come back right. So then all of a sudden she invited them in. She invited all of them in by just yelling and then just set the whole thing off. It's like technically they were trying to come up with
Yeah.
a plan. It's like, how can we be
Yeah, they were
safe?
safe.
How can we, do something, make it just take to the daytime and then we can get out? She was like, no, screw that. She was like, come the F in here or whatever she screamed to get all the vampires in there. And it was like, hey, thanks, because I was trying to make it to the morning. So it was like, that was great. So that was
They had
definitely a
like an
thing
hour.
where,
They had an hour.
yeah, yeah, it's like you had an hour till daylight, and she was just like,
Oh
"Screw it." He's
no.
like,
They
"You're
had an
not gonna mess with
hour.
my daughter. Let me in." And it's like now your daughter's sitting there because the two of her parents are dead. Her daughter's like, "Ain't nobody gonna come and open the store." I was like,
Well,
"What's going
maybe
on?
she
Where's
had to
half
go
the
Yeah.
fam at?"
pee. She had to go to the
They was
bathroom.
looking at her too
Listen,
because she knew. She knew. Everybody in that room knew. She walked back. She walked back and she was like, "Well, that's it." And they was like, "No, no, no, don't do that. Don't do it."
Mhm.
She was like, "Come
Try
on
to
in
grab
here
her,
then." I
cover
was
her
like,
mouth up.
"Bitch!" I
Yeah,
could not believe they
she
had
like
done that. She
everybody.
just
oh
invited them in.
no.
She
And
invited
to me,
Oh
everybody in,
no.
and that was a
that's
mass
another
invitation
important.
for all of that.
To me, that's another important aspect of the entire like vampire that whole entire vampire lore. The
Right.
fact that they have to be let in is
Right.
amazing because you have to allow them to come in. And
Right.
I'm not gonna lie, like there were some parts of this because it wasn't like they were coming in. It's like, oh, we're gonna kill you and blah blah blah. It was none of that. It was they made themselves feel like family. Like they were saying, listen, we don't like we just want you to feel like like you're part of something,
Mm-hmm.
right? We
Right.
don't
We
you
want you
don't
to
have to
belong. You
right.
don't have
You
to
don't
be
have to
separate
bow
because, like,
down
you
to
can
these
belong to a nice. You can belong to a community because, like, we all family together,
right. We all
and it's
live
like,
together. We all take care of one another. We don't have to you don't have to fear these folks anymore. As a matter of fact, they said as a matter of fact, when we get done here, we're gonna go see
Mm-hmm.
those oppressors down the street and we're gonna
Oh.
we gonna we're gonna take care of them too. So
Oh.
and I'm like, you know what? I'm like, hang on. Is it gonna hurt? Is it gonna hurt? As long as it doesn't hurt, you get me like right here. Just
You
give me like
better
right
just
there.
give me a
stop.
little bite. I want to be able to wear this shirt. This is a
So
favorite
that's
shirt of
how
mine.
they were so that's how they were tricking people to they were saying join us but and we'll take up your cause
Not
basically.
not not real. So
Not
they
so
were
much.
tricking people at first. Yeah,
Say it
they were
again.
tricking people. They were tricking
Oh,
people at first.
okay.
They
Uh-huh.
because they got in and
Uh,
someone they didn't know that they didn't know that they had got in because they were just asking like regular questions like, hey, can I come in and join you guys? And they'd be like, oh yeah, come on in. They didn't know they were vampires yet until like
Yeah,
later
it was
on.
like, it's like it started
oh.
to like, it started to click when somebody was like, "Come on, man, invite me in." It was like, why would I have to invite you in someplace that you've been in all night and coming and
Yeah,
going as
yeah,
you wanted?
yeah. That's what they got.
So,
Wow.
Um, yeah. So my dumb ass, right? I'm gonna admit this right here on the spot. My
You would
dumb
have let
ass.
them in. He would have let
I
them
think I
in.
told
Pass it
I
over.
told
He'd have let
Nina
them in. You'd have been
I
a
told Nina I
daughter.
think I
yep.
told Nina about this. I think told Nina about this last night, or I told one of them about this last night. So at one point in the movie, right, little boy, he grows up. He has the guitar in his hand, and he survives that night.
Mhm.
And he grows up and he becomes a musician. He's an old man, and what's the who's the lead character?
So Mike Jordan
Uh,
was it like I can't remember if it was Smoke
Michael B.
or
Jordan.
that. Yeah,
Smoke or
He's I
something.
think it's Smoke. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
So his brother, it was thought that his brother had killed him, but he couldn't kill his brother. So what he did was he made his brother promise to leave these people alone and he wouldn't kill him. And he honored that deal. So while he's playing guitar as an old man, and you can tell that it's him because he's got the three scratches on his face. Um, Michael B. Jordan character walks in with his girlfriend. He hadn't aged a day, and this is like in the '80s, I think, in the
Mhm.
'80s
It
or
is
like
in the
mid
'90s.
'90s
So
at this
she had
point.
on
Yeah,
bamboo
yeah,
earrings and he had on his red, black,
yeah.
and green sweater. It was
Oh
like,
yeah, that's
oh,
right. He had on like a Cosby sweater.
yeah.
So he tells him as he's getting ready to walk. You think he's getting ready to die, but he tells him he was like, the old man who was a child at the time, he said basically, everything that happened was horrible, but that was the best day of my life because he got to hang out with his family and his cousins or his uncles, and they showed him the time of his life. Like he had a blast. They showed him how to play guitar. He got to ride with them all day, and in that vein, in that aspect, that's when it felt like family because that's what we were like when we were kids, right?
Right. Yeah.
Following around our
Mhm.
aunts and uncles, and because they knew
Mhm.
better, and they were just like the coolest thing ever.
Mhm.
And to see that even in all of that chaos, that was still the best day he had ever had, and I
Mhm.
could completely relate, except
Yeah.
for the vampire
Mhm.
part, but
Yeah.
that was
No,
a
but
really,
I
really
understand
cool
what you're
picture.
saying. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. Yep.
that was amazing to me. So, yeah,
Okay.
really well done movie. I was amazed by that, and, yeah, wow, kudos to them. Just don't do a sequel or a prequel. No
Okay.
quels.
All right. No calls. Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna move on. I think you guys did a great job review on that. So again, if I'm definitely gonna try and make time this weekend to watch it. If any of you watching us are interested, please make time to go watch it. It sounds like a great movie according to these two gentlemen. So we are going to move into a topic we rarely discuss on the show, but it's entertainment. So I think we'd be remiss if we did not discuss it. The 2025 NFL Draft. The 90th NFL Draft held at Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin from April 24th through the 26th. Shedeur Sanders was not picked up until the fifth round. He was 144th pick. According to a lot of sports talking heads, et cetera, should have been picked up, if not the first round, definitely the second round. Um, a lot of people reports say that he has a solid arm and is overall a good athlete on the field. Some of the reports that I was able to look up were complaints about him only having played for his father, excuse me, at Colorado. And when things did go wrong, like when they maybe lost or what have you, Deion Sanders, his father, would always point the blame elsewhere. At least that's what a lot of the talking heads are saying. Another story was that he had been interviewed by a coach and answered a FaceTime call during the interview and never ended that call while he was still interviewing with the head coach. And then also, more recently, a story came out that during his wait to be drafted, the son of the Falcons defensive coordinator called and pranked him by offering him a fake spot on the team.
Dumb
He
ass.
has since,
Dumbass.
he has since issued an apology. But I say all of that to ask, does all of the hubbub and all of the different things that the different stories, some which may be true, some which may not be true, does all of that type of stuff go as a distraction with regard to the team that he was picked up to be on? Because who picked up Cleveland Browns picked him up, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So does that go
Yep.
as a distraction to the team? And do you do you think maybe it'll that adversity will cause him to do better? And do you guys have any other thoughts on maybe why it took him so long to finally be drafted?
You can go first,
Yeah,
Captain
you want to
Owens.
go first? Oh, I'll go first. Um, First of all, him not ending the team's call, if that's the flimsy excuse you're using for not drafting somebody when the other person on the other end of the phone or the other end of the call could just hit that red button, that's pretty sad. The stuff about him only playing for his dad in college, that's like, what was he supposed to do? Hit the transfer portal and play for like 8 other different teams before he, got to the draft? That's kind of ridiculous to me. I think this was a combination of just basically him being unlucky to be Deion Sanders' son, and then a lot of these owners and folks not liking Deion Sanders. Like
I'm
Deion
sorry.
does create problems for himself,
Mhm.
where he did say that there were teams that he wasn't going to allow his son to play for. So that was something that he should have never said.
Mhm.
Deion just being Deion in general, it was like for when he was in the league back then, I think there's still some folks that graded on that. For him to be drafted as late as he was, it was
Mhm.
like they say that there's no collusion in the NFL. But to me, I'm not going to let some other owner tell me what I can't do with maybe for the best for my team. Because, looking at you, Jets, y'all needed a quarterback because the Aaron Rodgers experiment exploded in your face. Y'all could have picked Shedeur Sanders and at least sold some tickets to get people in the building trying to believe in
Yes.
that franchise again. There was a lot of teams that there
Okay.
have been other players in college that have done some heinous stuff and been drafted high, and they're willing to sweep it under the rug or look the other way and like, well, he's a young man and these things make mistakes. It was like Shedeur was not in the news for like weapons or doing nothing stupid. It was like he pretty much just played football. You punished him for who his dad was, and that wasn't right. So
Okay.
with Cleveland drafting him, maybe they use him as some kind of trade bait. I hope they don't. Or if they do, he goes somewhere and pulls a Randy Moss and makes every team that passed him up pay for it, because that wasn't right.
Hold
It
on.
was like if he was terrible, that's
I have to
fine.
add
But no.
that his rights issue is when
Shit did. It
he's just
sound
going
like a
in.
French cologne.
My
Shit
goodness.
did.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Casanova.
No, you good, because the first thing I said is like Shedeur. It was like,
Shedeur.
is that like
going
Christian
in.
Dior? It was like, what's going on? So
God.
yeah. I mean, names are names, but I can't throw stones, but at the same time,
Well,
I think
all
what
right.
happened to him in the draft was just not great. That's like I don't think that was right. And I hope he balls out. I hope he plays in the NFL for a long time. I hope he balls out, and I hope he makes all of those folks that passed him up regret passing him.
Okay. All right. Smitty, what's your take on it?
I think there are a few elements at play here,
Okay.
and some of it is his fault.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
some of it is his father's fault,
Okay.
and some of it is the fault of the league. So,
Oh, all right. Well, let's get into all three.
um, the league's fault. You can tell like there was an issue with the league. Now, I would have said no. The league was just doing their due diligence, but there were some quarterbacks with rag arms that were taken before Shedeur. Shedeur led his conference in
Mm-hmm.
points,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe he was the MVP of his conference or something along those
Yeah,
lines.
he got some kind of award for
Yeah.
something for QB.
So if you want to tell me that he's in line with uh, Jackson Dart, who was picked up by the Giants, fine, I can do that. You gonna tell me that he is behind some dude who's blind and he throws more passes to the other team than he does to his own receivers? Then there's something wrong there, right? There's something wrong there. Now, I blame his father because his father opened his mouth and he shouldn't have. Now, I know Dion. Has always been flashy ever since I was a kid, and that's fine. Dion had the talent to do what he did. He knew he was good when he played Florida State, and nobody could tell him anything. Like he was one of the best corners in the game in college and in the pros. Like he could basically
Yeah,
write his own ticket. He could go wherever he wanted, whenever he wanted. Dion's a
Mm-hmm.
free agent. Oh shit! Well, let me get my pen and pad out and put some zeros down because we got to go get him. He was
Right.
that good. His
Mm-hmm.
son is not his dad,
Right.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
this has happened many, many, many times with Michael Jordan's son, with LeBron's son, and now
Mm-hmm.
Dion's son. You think just because your dad was dope that you are, and that's not the case. Okay,
Right.
what
Right.
what happens with you? It's like a one off. Like Michael Jordan and LeBron and Deion Sanders. These are not players that come along every day. This is not a regular occurrence. So just because you had some offspring does not mean they're going to be incredibly fast and figure out how to
right.
track a ball.
They
That
think it's
doesn't
in
that
the
doesn't mean they're going to be that
DNA.
And
good.
and
So
then with him even being projected to be first, it was like there's room to argue that this draft was just kind of weak. It
yeah,
was like it wasn't like a quarterback heavy draft. It's like, oh, we expect him to go in the first round. So you basing that off his name, and this draft is kind of weak. So it's like it's not like you got quarterback you stack for days, and then him going
yeah.
in the third or fourth round would have been different. It was like this is not this like quarterback wise, the draft was not that good. He was just a name that played in Colorado.
He was
But
in a
getting
he was
drafted as late as he was, I
yeah.
don't think that
He
was
should not have been
probably
drafted
the
at
right thing.
144.
Yeah.
He was in a perfect storm of issues. Like there weren't that many teams out there that needed quarterbacks for one. Two,
Mhm.
he didn't play in the SEC, which is
Right,
Mm.
right,
the
right.
end all be all
Yes.
for
Yep.
football, right?
That's Alabama, that's Georgia,
Alabama,
that's yep.
Georgia, all those
Mhm.
teams. You see how the Eagles draft, right?
The
They went to Georgia, they
Alabama.
went to Alabama
Mhm.
because the Eagles already made a mistake. They went after Carson Wentz, and
Mhm.
he ended up being trash. That other
Right.
kid that took over for him, he went to San Francisco. He didn't even play, and he went to Dallas, and he still ain't
Mhm.
played. He just
Mhm.
walking around the NFL doing nothing, just picking up trash. Okay, so
Mhm.
teams
Right.
are starting to look at the SEC more often than not to go get their players, unless you are a ridiculous standout. Now, he
Well,
played for Colorado, right?
mhm.
And it's not like he was good at Colorado, but he wasn't exceptional at
Right.
Colorado,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, and by no means can you come to the NFL and tell a professional team who's trying to give you millions of dollars for years
Right.
to come that you don't need, you don't want to come see them, and that you're not going to take their tests, you're not going to work out for them, you ain't going to do shit. Well, okay, fool. Well, you get
Oh,
kicked on down the road, right?
okay.
You want to do what you want to do. But we're
Right.
trying to give you a job. I'm not trying to deal with your attitude and
Right.
your dad at the same time. His
Right.
father went on the Tamron Hall show and told her that he's not going to let his son play for certain teams. What, bitch? You got this messed up. Okay? You need to
And
flippity floppity this. Okay, you got
Well,
this
let me
then
ask.
backwards.
what's even
Let,
crazier is he was the agent for his two sons, and his other son fired him as an agent and
yeah, I did
went
see
with
that.
somebody
Yep.
else.
Yep.
So it's like because he was watching what was going on, he was like, "Nah, Dad messing with my pocket, so I gotta go." And then
Well,
that dude went to the agent that everybody goes to and got picked up. So
I don't even think he had an agent. I think his father was his agent.
yeah, that's what he's
yeah, his
saying.
father was the
Oh,
agent.
okay.
He fired him to go to Drew Rosenhaus.
Mhm.
So
So
maybe Shedeur
if
needed to make sure he do the same thing and go to Drew Rosenhaus too.
if you're asking me if he could not have gone to a better place than Cleveland, because in Cleveland he's definitely going to start, right? He should have probably gone to Pittsburgh or
Mm,
even the Jets and the Giants. They just keep tripping over their
mm.
own dick. They don't know what they doing every day. Every day they just bloop 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 just falling over. Okay, take a flyer on the man. He could be amazing, right? He could be amazing. No, you just got to keep. What should we do today? How we gonna mess up this franchise today? Oh, Jackson Dart, let's do that. They just keep messing up, but it's fine. In Cleveland, he's going to start. And Cleveland is a shitty team. They are a bag of complete nickels, just buckets and buckets of ass. So if you want to prove yourself, Cleveland is the place to
You got
do
the
it.
perfect
Right?
stage.
Go
Right.
out there and you
Yeah.
can shine in Cleveland. If he gets Cleveland to the playoffs, he can write his own ticket.
All right.
Right?
So
He can write his own ticket. So he's got a shot, but he's got to shut his ass up, be a little bit
he's not
humble,
going to do that. He's not going to do
and
that.
go to work.
He's not going to do
Well,
that.
then he you deserve whatever you get.
And it's like if you're not
And
going to do
I
that,
only
then
say
it's like then you're going. But Smitty is right. If he ain't going to shut up, if he ain't going to just go, it's like, hey, I'm going to take this draft nonsense that happened to me. I'm going to take it. I'm going to do what I can do and take advantage of my opportunity. But if he's going to talk and he's going to sit there, like even if he comes out the first couple of games and throws for 600 yards and 12 touchdowns or something, if he's going to start talking, then all bets are off, and then you better not throw an interception,
well,
and somebody better not run it back. Better not fumble that ball.
I just feel like because his father was a showboater and he gave his son license for that and he was doing it during the process. Unless he has a true come to Jesus moment, excuse me, he's not going to. I can't see him, like you said, humbling himself. I don't think that that's going to be a
He
thing.
may not humble himself, but those other
He
players
he
on that
going to
team
get
might humble
humbled,
him.
absolutely.
Yeah,
But
His
let
I
me
mean,
father
ask
like
you
those other
his
his
father
teammates
his
will humble him.
his father screwed him. Instead
yeah,
of
Yeah.
going to Colorado, he should have
mhm.
tried to find an SEC team for his son to go to or for himself to coach.
Right. But
Um,
Dion was trying to elevate his resume, his stand-in
yeah, I understand that,
by
but
doing that.
your son has to fly now.
No,
It's
I get
it's
it.
Your son has to fly now. Even during the draft, right?
Mhm.
Even during the draft, his father got dressed in the same suit that his son was wearing, and when they walked into the draft, he was out front. And they came with an entourage, and his dad was out front, and Shedeur was behind him. This is your son's moment, not
Yeah,
yours.
yeah.
Your
He
time is
hasn't given up the
done.
spotlight yet. So
Yeah,
let me
you
ask
gotta
you a
you
question. Let me ask you a question moving forward in um future NFL drafts. If I'm because you made reference to the SEC, and if I'm not mistaken, didn't the SEC expand this year? Like they brought in more.
yes.
Okay, so do you think that's going to dilute the pool?
No.
Mm-mm.
Well,
No.
if we're picking up teams that weren't in the SEC the prior year, excuse me, and they're not as good. Now, I understand. Trust me, I know Alabama was not as good as it had been under Nick Saban. Especially the transfer portal messed everything up, right? So I get it. But if you're going to have other teams um that are now included in the SEC that are not a part of that stalwart, right? That don't have the same backbone that Georgia, that Alabama had, that Florida has, right? Then how is it not going to dilute the
Oh, they
pool?
gonna know. They gonna know.
Yeah.
Okay, they gonna know.
You
Your ass
know,
go out there and you get smoked up 72 to nothing. Okay, they gonna know. They gonna know you can't
it's like
hide in the
you
weeds.
It's like, yeah,
Okay.
it's like just because you in this SEC now, you're going to get more TV time, and that just means people going to see if you mediocre or not.
Right.
So, like, if you're trash, it's like you're not going to be, oh, yeah, I'm gonna declare, I'm gonna forego my second year and go to the NFL draft. It's like, and that's what somebody goes like, nah, son, you need to stay in college because I
Okay.
don't think the NFL is in your future or something. It's like maybe you need to sit down, go to class, and do something else. Just have fun. It was like, but don't look at this as a career. So yeah,
I
just
need
because you got other teams in there, don't necessarily mean you're gonna make it or that you should be in the draft. And like some of these players, like for in a lot of these conferences, they know that. So hopefully
I don't
they
know what happened. Don't ask.
keep it smart.
Okay.
now now don't get me wrong. Don't like I want to make myself perfectly clear. I do not I blame Dion for what he did, but you can't blame Dion for being who he is, right?
Hmm.
If it's my son, I'm going to represent him the best way that I know how, which I'm sure he's doing. It just to me it's wrong. But in my
Well,
eyes, I wouldn't handle it like this. Like I feel like he should be humble and he should let his son do what he does best. Be himself, but let him do this on his own. Yes, you can help him. I would help my son too. I would do whatever I could to help my son get into the league. I don't give a damn what anybody says. Like I'm his father. I love him. I have to do this because I feel like I can help him. So I don't blame Dion there. I just feel like the way he went about it, opening his mouth, going on TV shows and telling him that he's not going to let him play for certain teams and just doing all of this extra stuff just
hmm.
to bring down his son's draft stock. So I
Okay.
don't blame Dion. I do and I don't, if that makes any sense. You got to shut your ass. You
No,
want your son to play for a good squad. Shut up.
no,
That's all I'm
because
saying.
I saw I think it was still during the time the draft was happening and he still hadn't yet been picked. His mom was saying stuff too. Like he does to me it feels like he doesn't have a proper support system. Like they're there to support him, yes, as mom and dad, yes, but when it's like you're saying, Smitty, when it's coming to this particular situation, they're hurting him rather than helping him. So
You know
I
me
guess
too.
we'll see
If
what
I'm sitting there
happens.
next to him, I'm having fun with him. Like I'm going to get a soda. You want one? You want some? You good? They ain't called you yet. You check your
You
phone.
want
Is your
something?
phone on?
We
Okay.
gonna be here a while.
Gonna be any
We
minute
gonna be
now.
here
You
a
want to play
while,
some
son.
cards? You want to play cards? They still ain't called you? No. You want to use my phone? Just all
Yeah,
types.
it's a
It's like you
problem
got
with
you
his
got any
phone.
bars? You still got bars on your phone?
My
You got Verizon?
God,
Maybe it's your phone.
you stupid. All right, guys, we're gonna move on, but before we do that, again, please make sure you take a minute to like, share, subscribe. I know the first two um the first topic of sinners is not our usual Tuesday thing, and the NFL draft isn't again our usual thing, but we could not do tonight's episode without reviewing those two because again, entertainment, and that's what we're here for. So Now, this one is definitely not a usual thing, but again, entertainment. So we have to review it. Um, the Lively and Baldani legal saga continues. For those of you who may not be aware of this, I will give the most brief Cliff Notes version that I am capable of providing. Um, Blake Lively, the wife of Ryan Reynolds, who is also the cricket. I can't stand you. The cricket owner and Deadpool phenom. She starred in a film called It Ends With Us, which was adapted from a novel released in 2016, but did not gain in popularity until 2021. Justin Baldani was the director of this movie, but also played opposite of Lively. Without getting too far into the weeds, during production, Lively made complaints alleging misconduct on the part of Mr. Baldani, and after filming, she alleged he hired a PR firm to perform an online smear campaign in an attempt to keep what she claims happened on set out of the public eye. Because of the alleged smear campaign and misconduct, Lively filed a lawsuit against him, and he in return filed a countersuit asking for $400 million for defamation. The reason why we're covering this is because it has to do with the MCU. Now, the MCU has been dragged into the fray, and because of that, we felt it was worthy of your time. Marvel is now involved because of the character Nicepool, which was portrayed in the Deadpool Wolverine movie, which was released in July 2024. Baldani alleges that Nicepool was based on his persona because during the movie, the character made reference to the need for an intimacy coordinator, as well as the character being portrayed with a man bun, along with a few other things. Baldani has included Marvel and Ryan Reynolds with the lawsuit and asked that Marvel keep and supply all documents pertaining to the movie and persons involved. Marvel has asked the judge quash the motion. No decision has yet been made. If you're interested in any further information, you can find it on a documentary that was on HBO Max called In Dispute Lively v. Baldani. So, regardless of where you land on this particular situation, I know it was long given Smitty's face. I'm trying to get through it as fast as possible, but our viewers needed some background. So, regardless of where you stand on who did what, who is right or wrong, how badly do you think this bodes for MCU and its brand, especially as it tries to come back from recent misses like Captain America: A Brave New World? Smitty, I can't stand you right now. So Casanova, please take it away.
Mr. Baldini, I want to ask if you're all right. Are you okay? Because you sound like a whiny chump right now. It's like somebody
Oh,
made fun of you in a movie, and then the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna sue for like $400 million. It's like, so what? They made fun of you in a movie. That was his wife, and y'all had beef. So he's protecting his wife. He made a joke. You know
well,
what?
he's suing
I
her,
didn't know you rocked him.
saying that her
I didn't know
alleged
you.
claims were false. But go ahead.
Whatever. It was like that's a totally different from the rest of this stuff. I didn't know you wore a man bun. It's like I wasn't following the Blake Lively case. So as a layperson going into the movie, I wouldn't know. All I thought like, nice fool. This is a ridiculous character, and that's it. It's like I'm not sitting there as like, yo, Baldini. I think that's you on the screen. That's crazy. Most people didn't know, but then you call attention to it, so you look overly sensitive. You look like you just crying about this whole thing. The MCU ain't got nothing to do with this. It's just this movie and this one character. It was like this is not going to impact their box office like one bit of anything else they do. The only thing that impact their box office is these late slate movies are not good.
Right.
It was like this just whole thing just needs to go the hell
So
away because
do
it's
you
just
think,
dumb.
very quickly, do you think it'll impact their trying to get back on track, seeing as how they've had Smitty, I see your face. We're gonna get to you in a second, but seeing as how they've had recent misses with the movies that they've
No,
released,
I don't
you
think
don't
it'll
think
have.
this will
I don't think No, it was like you're not gonna. People are not gonna not go to this movie because they made fun of this director that I never heard of for a movie that he did that I never saw, and that was just mean. So I'm not gonna go see
dang.
this. It was like I don't think they like even people that are deep in the weeds on this stuff
Uh-huh.
just don't care. To me, it's a bad look. If I was the judge, I'm throwing this out, and then I'm finding Baldini $400 million for wasting the court's time with this bullshit. It was like
Okay.
it's just stupid. It was like, no. So I don't think that the MCU is going to be impacted by this at all. I don't think people are not going to go see stuff. or not patronize their movies because of this case. It was like
Okay.
this guy is just trying to put his name out there because
Mm.
he got a beef with Blake Lively, and it's like she's suing me, so
Okay,
now
that's
I'm going to
Smitty
sue
face.
them, and I'm going to sue her husband too. It's freaking nonsense.
Okay, well, Smitty, get it, because it looks like you got a lot to say.
Listen, there are 14 people in this chat. This is what I suggest we do because
Okay.
I'm clearly not living right. This is what we need to do. Okay, all 14 of us need to sue some goddamn body tonight. Okay, tonight over
Why
something
are we suing?
stupid. $400 million over a
100
man
million.
bun. A man bun.
Well,
400 million.
he's
Like,
got
how do you
multiple.
even come up with that number? How you come up with that? Do you know if I was sitting there and I had just written this blockbuster and you was like, I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry I upset you. How much is it gonna cost for us to make this right? And you uttered the words 400 million. I'd have slapped the shit out of you. All of it. All of this. All your lips. All your lips.
My
All of that.
God.
How in the world? What kind of world we living in? $400 million
400 million. Mm-hmm.
for a man bun.
For a man bun. Yes.
I can't even. I can't.
Yes. Yep.
Dude, we
While
gotta sue
Smitty
somebody
pulls
today.
himself
Today.
together, if
Today.
we have any new viewers, please make yourself known in the chat so that we could give y'all a shout out. You know, and say hi. But go ahead, Smitty, while you still have your little meltdown.
And Nina, she left a comment. She said the $400 million lawsuit was over defamation,
Yes.
not nice pool.
It's
So it's
both.
like if it was
It's
over
both, because
defamation, all right. So what did she say?
Okay, wait. It was initially the defamation for her claims against him. It was a countersuit that he filed against her. He has since pulled in MCU and Ryan Reynolds into the fray, into these lawsuits.
For why? For why? For
Exactly.
what?
It don't
Why?
make any sense. It was like you sitting there, it's like now it's like, well, this movie made a lot of money, so I'm gonna see
Who
if
is
I can
this
get a
other
piece of
character
it.
is supposed to look like Nice Pool?
Yeah, it's like, and then only three people saw my movie, so I'm gonna make it up on the back end with this lawsuit if I can win it. It was like he just looked so stupid. It looks so.
You took
I'm
my
all
400
for
million. I
pettiness.
promise you, we didn't take your 400 million. Ain't nobody coming to see your raggedy ass movie. Ain't nobody know
Right.
who you are.
Like, I'm all for pettiness, but Jesus, there's got to be a limit, and this is so damn stupid.
I'm all for pettiness.
Like coming to watch your movie. Listen,
Yeah,
this
it
is
was
what we
like
can
I'm
do.
all for
I will
pettiness,
buy
but
you.
this is ridiculous.
I'll get you a grape Slurpee and some Funyuns. That's all I'm willing to give you at this point. That's all you finna get. Okay, that's all you get. Grape Slurpee, large, a medium, not even a large. You get the medium Slurpee, not even a big one.
At
So
least make it a pina
I
colada.
cannot believe
Great.
$400 million.
No, you don't deserve a pina colada. Like the Slurpee and the Funyuns is probably too much.
No, a pina colada Slurpee, not a great one.
No, you don't deserve that. It's like you don't deserve that.
Okay.
You getting a milk, a warm
Yes,
milk.
Dennis, the movie is about an abusive relationship, and that's why the expectation for the movie was so, because the book apparently went like gangbusters on TikTok in 21, so that's why they did the movie.
Oh, there you go. It was like, there you go. It was like the book went gangbusters. Everybody on TikTok said it was great. So this man bun decided to make a movie out of the book, and then it didn't do well because TikTokers only watch stuff that's only on their phone most of the time anyway. So like, no, I can't go to theater and see it. So no, so now he's going to sue for $400 million. It was like he's making bad decisions all around.
Oh my
goodness.
goodness.
No, it's like I don't even want to give him the warm milk now. It was like he gets half a Funyun and he gets a thimble of lukewarm temperature water. That's it. That's all he deserves.
Dennis Wright said, "I'm ashamed I know about this revoke my man card." I mean, yes, I tried to not cover this, but because it pulled in MCU and we do a lot of MCU on this channel, I just wanted to get you guys' viewpoint on what it may do to the brand of MCU, if you think it'll do anything.
I'm about to close up this YouTube shop thing, and I'm about to slap somebody or something so I can get paid. This is crazy. 400 million. That's what I'm about to do.
Okay.
That's what I'm about. Chris, you take one for the team?
No.
I'm going to get it on film, and we're going to go to court. Right across your lips. Right here. Wow. Right there. It'll be fine. You'll heal up nicely. 400 million going to be right nice.
Ugh, oh my
My idea though, so
gosh.
I'm getting most of that.
Okay. Anyway, is that all the
Now, give
two
me
of
one
you
more. Give me
have
one more.
to?
What else you got? Give me one more.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
we
we
can
do have
squeeze
a
in
few
one.
more, but I will. Casanova, which one do you think we should do? The box office or the
Yeah. I think we should do the box office thing.
okay. Well, all right, just gotta check. Okay. Box office showdown. Recent reporting has suggested that the upcoming Lilo and Stitch movie and the Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning are set up for a box office battle, similar to what we experienced with Barbie and Oppenheimer, or what many refer to as Barbenheimer. Uh, when both of those movies were released on July 21st, 2023, excuse me, with Barbie pulling in $162 million, Oppenheimer pulling in $82.4 million. Lilo and Stitch, along with Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, are due to have their face-off weekend, May 23rd, 2025. So, with both movies obviously having a different targeted viewer base, how do you think how do you think they'll do at the box office? Do you think there'll be that battle that there why are you looking like this? Do you think there'll be that battle at the box office as suggested? Or do you think the story is just a plant just to try and drum up excitement for both movies?
I think somebody made this story on a Friday because don't nobody give a shit about. Nobody care. Nobody care. Nobody care. I don't care about no goddamn Lilo and Stitch. It's not. It's not even gonna be a decision.
Lilo.
If I go to the
Lilo.
movie theater, it's not even a choice. Oh, which one?
But
Which
you
one
have
should
a
I watch?
son, so
I ain't
It's
taking.
like
why
I'm
those
not
would
even
you
telling
kids
about no
going
include?
to
Lilo and Stitch. I'm not
If you
telling them.
say Lilo one more time,
What is it? Lilo? Lilo?
Lilo.
How are you not correcting somebody on how a neighbor pronounce?
Hey, easy.
Like I'm just saying.
Yeah, you just learned how to spell your name.
Y'all
Son of a bitch.
mean. Listen.
Ugh.
So
Like
so
why
Listen,
not?
what
Why
I
we
didn't
these
were
know.
movies? Why not? Why not? I know what you did last summer versus the Smurfs. They both come out on the same day. We can have that. It was like just have that. It was like this is stupid. You're not gonna that Barbenheimer
well,
nonsense was something that was lightning in a bottle one time. It's like you're
Now,
well,
not gonna have
if
that.
well,
you would have,
Barbie and Oppenheimer also had very different viewer bases, right? Obviously.
Right.
Right.
But
So
Disney has had a horrible track record of their live action remakes. And then you're going to go up against Mission Impossible and the last one of that franchise. I
mhm.
don't think it's going to be a competition. It's like
Okay.
I do
if you
not
would have
see it
said,
as a thing.
if you would have said, uh, train How to Train Your Dragon, like I'd have been like, okay,
Mhm.
maybe, right? Because
Mhm.
even I'm even interested in the live action How to Train Your Dragon. That looks pretty decent, right?
Okay. Mhm.
But Lalo and Stitch,
Lalo, stop it.
Lalo and Stitch. I
It's like
mean,
I don't think
I'm not
like
saying it's not.
even
I don't even know. Did
as
Lilo
counter programming, it's no.
did Lalo do numbers last when it came out? Was it that good? J Lo and Stitch.
Oh my God. I can't
Now that
even.
I might have had to go see. But no, I don't know. I can't remember what it did when it came out. It's just like their live action remakes seem to be getting less and less interest in the box
Mhm.
office, if I'm
Mhm.
remembering right. And it's just like Disney is just pumping stuff out at this point. Well, it's like, well, screw it. Might as well just make a live action version of this to get this out there for the kids.
Mhm.
And no, I don't think it's going to be a competition for that day.
No, me
Okay.
neither. I think
Like I
Mission
think they,
Impossible is gonna blow his doors off.
yeah.
So you don't think you'll have like parents again, you're just going to have, I feel like, parents who could care less about Mission Impossible potentially, but who want to take their kids to go and watch Lilo and Stitch. And we saw what happened with Minecraft, right? So I'm just
Mm, mm,
no, you
That is a
okay.
whole different other thing. That's a whole
Oh,
different animal. And I think Lilo and Stitch they picked that date because it's like, well, it's either Mission Impossible or we go up against Superman.
well, it's
Those are our
also
choices.
Memorial
Or
Day
Jurassic
weekend.
Park.
It's also
Yeah.
Memorial
So it's
Day
like
weekend. Mhm.
they releasing stuff because like their window is stuff that they would be up against. I feel like I guess because the last Mission Impossible did okay, but it didn't do super great. They figured their chances are best against that,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why they released it where they released it.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm wrong a lot about a lot of shit. I mean, I'm always wrong. So Lilo and Stitch is probably going to do really well. I can't see it. I didn't know Lilo and Stitch was that popular. It could be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
probably going to go watch Mission Impossible like 87 times because I really
Stupid.
liked the first episode of this. Again,
Mm-hmm.
this was probably my favorite Mission Impossible um
Mm-hmm.
to date. I think. So, and they're all good. If you ask, well, all of them except that one where they had that motorcycle fight on the beach. That shit was stupid.
Ugh,
But yeah, that was
made me
bad.
cry because I like John Woo, and I was like, all right,
I was
John,
like,
it's
this
time to
is whack.
do
Just get off the
the killer
goddamn
and everything
bike
else
and fight.
again.
Just get off the bike.
It was just a lot with that movie where I'm sitting there, it's like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
Did he
So
try
yeah,
to kick him with the end of that bike? Get your ass off the bike and fight. Use your fist. Stupid
right.
ass
Okay.
movie.
It was just like this motorcycle. Like we're gonna just ram ourselves into each other, jumping off the motorcycle. What are
Oh
we
my
doing?
See, there
goodness.
you go. Dennis
Shoot
Wright
him,
got it.
Tom.
Lilo, 100 million. Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, 200 million. Dennis,
Okay.
gentleman and a
All right.
scholar, thank you for that.
Way
See?
to go,
See?
Dennis, coming in there
See?
with the numbers.
Boom.
All right.
Dennis Wright is on it.
Well, unless either one of you gentlemen have anything left to say, that is
Yeah, I
our
just got
time.
just a few announcements before we get ready to go. Alien Earth is coming out this summer. Can't wait to see that. I'm definitely gonna be talking about that. The Accountant comes out. Probably gonna go watch that real soon. What else comes out? What else drops this weekend? Something just dropped. What was it? Oh,
Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts. Amen. Thunderbolts. And I cannot wait to start reviewing good shit. I'm so tired of reviewing filth. Like we're better than this. You know, we gotta get our skills up. I'm
So,
tired of reviewing this gutter trash. Not
okay.
tonight. I'm talking about on Thursdays, like Yellow Jackets and all of that. That was a slosh to get through. That
Yellow
was like doing homework.
jackets.
I didn't care about
Oh,
none of that. None of it. You hear me? None of it.
God.
I'd rather just let you punch me in the face rather than watch another show of that.
Oh my
I'm just
goodness.
saying. So it's fine. I can't wait to watch this stuff. Uh, what's the other show? Invasion. Invasion coming on soon, huh? I can't wait to do that one again. It's gonna be great. So I'm happy. I'm excited. You know, I get to hang out with y'all and talk trash about movies and get to go over some real stuff. Dennis, you are the man, man. I appreciate you coming through with that. That's good timing right there. So yeah, I'm good. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe if you enjoy the content, man. We like making y'all laugh. We like hanging out with y'all, and I love doing this with y'all on Tuesdays and Thursdays. If I could do it more often, I would. So let's hope I don't get fired, and I have to do this for a living.
All right, guys. My goodness. Andor just released the
Going for that
next
400
three
million
episodes. The Andor just released the next 3 episodes. They just dropped in the 9 o'clock hour, so we will be reviewing those on this Thursday. So make sure you
Hell
guys
yeah,
come
let's
back
go.
and get our take on that, along with The Last of Us and gosh, what's the other show? Mobland. So make sure you guys come back on Thursday, and we'll see you then. But thanks for joining.
I love y'all. Y'all be easy, man. Enjoy yourselves and see y'all Thursday. Y'all take care of each other. I'll
Cheers,
holla.
guys.
Have a good one, everybody.